Three stories. There was once a man who undertook a study of the mind. There was once a man who investigated thoughts. Come here, let me give you a haircut. Or at least take a nap. Gradually, one man began to understand. No one eats for me. No one breathes for me. No one drinks for me. And ultimately, upon his awakening, realized, and no one speaks for me. No one. And that includes that thing that's always spoken for me. For years, a man with a certain hunger searched and explored, discovering one new thing after another, until one day, whammo, he made a single sudden discovery that rendered all of the others unnecessary and brought satisfaction to his hunger. Yes, I know, life can seem to be harsh and non-forthcoming, but remember this. Cinderella's not dead. She's only a snoozing, hiding behind eyes that are closed, but which could be otherwise. There are two types of thinking: thought thinking and you thinking. And if you don't know the difference, then you're fully stuck in the former. There is a certain ventriloquist act which consists of three performers: the ventriloquist, the dummy, and in this particular instance, the dummy's dummy. Okay, I'll give you a hint. The act is really about man, his mind, his thoughts, using the word his in its loosest sense. When speaking of freedom from illusion, the ordinary think in terms of illusions regarding the external world, when the reality of it is further back in the pipeline. As his discoveries expanded, one man began to think of his mind as, who said that? At the conclusion of his lecture, a mystic was stopped by a man who gave his interpretation of something he had said, then asked, "Is that what you meant?" To which the mystic replied, "I don't know what I meant." One man marveled, "What a trick. Thoughts think about me, thus making me think it is me." And another man whined, "But how can this be? How can this be?" In the land of ghosts, anything is possible. There is one thing that, once you realize it, makes all knowledge pretend knowledge and all entertainment kids' shows. A man who takes what he thinks and says seriously has one simple problem. He's listening to his thoughts. And in response to this, ordinary minds would say, "You can't be serious." Dancing to one song while always singing another. Man says, "You've changed so much, I hardly recognize you from just a year ago," and much appreciated all encouragement. I know, I owe you $1. Plus maybe a rewrite. One man began to think of the me within his mind as cheap underwear under a cheap suit. The reason that thoughts take so long to respond is for the same reason that they always can respond. Always knowing what to do being part of the same machinery as whatever it is to which they're responding. Well, sure, the rear bumper's a few feet from the grill, but you know for sure it's there and will be right along soon after the front of the car passes by. Dig it like this. If humans are products of their environment, then your physical disposition is your environment and thoughts its results. Dig it. One man would creep up silently behind his mind to try and see who he could find. One man finally scratched his head on this. I should have suspected something funny about thoughts, if for no other reason than the fact that you can't question them. One man's network announced a quiz show, but no contestants appeared. His head executive said, I should have expected something funny. The mean old king proclaimed, shoot everyone who's full of shit, and the entire kingdom made a run for it, just in case. Being unsure whether he meant the full of shit part, extremely metaphorically, or just routinely so. Before going to bed, a boy asked his father, should I be in fear of ghosts? No, replied the elder, not unless they remove their sheets and there's still somebody there. Funny thing about thoughts, they never suspect anything funny's going on. Funny, huh? Once he realized the canary's game, he had it singing to an empty house. When one man first heard the term, no pain, no gain, he mused, boy, it's a shame that doesn't apply to my mind and the thoughts it handles. He now is awaiting to hear it said that no awareness of stupidity, no pain, which he says would be the natural extension of the original idea if it were applied to the area he noted. Though you can wake a man physically asleep by poking him most anywhere, to do so for one mentally so, you must poke him specifically in the eye, so that he might see what is the cause of his slumber. Whenever this one man would find himself annoyed by the noise in his head, he'd reply, hey, it ain't me. One man who hated to go out to get things done, like get a haircut, go to the dentist, go shopping and like that, finally said to himself, well, hell, I'll just stay home and awaken myself. Since left to their own devices, thoughts think only of you, what you've done, and what you may do in the future. It's not surprising you take them to be you, is it? One man refused to sign his name, saying it only encouraged the illusion. Once, after his thoughts had just come up with some ridiculously complimentary something about himself, one man had to say aloud to them, you guys are a riot. I guess everyone's figured out it seems to be that some news stories require, for their full effect, that hearers of same had been there at the time it occurred. But hey, if you could have, then it wouldn't be the news, and I wouldn't be staying here reading it to you, would I? I don't know. I don't know. It's not my job to know. It's my job to read this. A fact that has gone completely unnoticed is that man's mind is the inspiration for the notion of a haunted house. And by the by, I was afraid, since I went to the trouble to bring this to your attention, don't miss the true point by taking it only as crudely as your mind will instantly want to hear it. There is a deeper refinement within the conspicuous coarseness. Mere attacks on the mind will get you nowhere. For the ammunition you use, it manufactures and is immune thereto. So consider it again, the mind as the inspiration for the idea of a haunted house. Papa, should I be impressed by ghosts? We've already covered that, son. Under ordinary conditions, the closest thing there is to a me is a thought that's held longer than those around it. So pictured one man. Ordinary awareness is like being tumbled in a clothes dryer that's filled with words. I guess you can wake me out. Well, I know you can, because humanity as a whole has waited everything out. So why single out one condition, one circumstance? One man had a pet flea whose primary talent was that it was forever jumping, never still. But then one day, sad to say, the flea passed away. But for some reason, the man continued to let it jump about. And someone said, "What a curious story." One man heard a voice say, "When you reach your destination, be sure and stop your traveling." And he thought, what a curious thing to say. A poem, and perhaps a timely one at that. Without the sensation of me, there's never a feeling of urgency. Once you realize a certain thing, after that, there's only one kind of talk you can ever again take seriously. And it doesn't come from thoughts. True mystic info should be in the form of an unanswerable question, never stated as a fact. Saying that the great discovery is the discovery of nothing can ordinary minds much confuse. For it doesn't mean that you didn't discover anything. It means just what it says, the discovery of nothing. Finally seeing how the me trick is done. The supreme comment possible for thought is no comment, which is its minimally useful one as well. Where the wind is still is the place to be.